Welcome. Hello and welcome everyone. So have started with the creative writing index. We have completed for the first 3 days, that is module one. As we could not have our session yesterday, sorry. So I will try my level best to complete the 2 day session because within this week we have to complete this. And as Raksha Bandhan, Eid, and everything is coming, so we need a break at that time. So I'll try my level best to complete the 2 videos of this so that it is covered on time. So today we are going to enter into module 2, that is the art of storytelling, day 4 and 4 to 6. And then poetry and expression from day 7 to 9. I will repeat that in our previous sessions that we have started with day 1 to 3. We have covered with the introduction, we have covered from basics, and we have understood the PK testings like the previous knowledge. Okay. Now, the art of storytelling from day 4 to day 6. These days are the full 15 days program which we have to take for the kids, right? But for you all, I'm covering it into 7 days. So we are completing all the modules. I I repeat, this whole plan is lesson plan based. So this is a planned letters or lectures only for teachers. Okay. So I'm scrolling it for you. We have done till day 3. Now it's day 4. Creating a hero and a place. Like in our previous session, we have understood that we must enter into the mind of the child about the character. Okay. When we are inserting a character into the mind of a child, here the child becomes a story maker in the mind. So initially, when we start with the hook, the fun icebreaker activity is there. So the instruction you can give, like you have to draw two big boxes or two big circles on the blackboard or whiteboard or whatever. You can use some stick cards also, whatever you feel like. See, it totally depends on the teacher how creative you are. The more you are creative, the more you can make your kids creative, right? So now in the first part, first box or circle or whatever, you will mention the character, okay, or the person. Who means a character. And in the second box or a circle, you will put their setup, like where, okay. See, what we are doing is we are actually making a step into their mind. Okay. So how to develop the character and how to set up, that we are going to present here. Okay. Now, we have to ask the class for random suggestions and tell them to fill up onto the board. Now, when you are asking the random suggestions, you are getting n number of options. On the board, you have to do it. Okay. You will perform it as a directress on the board and the kids are going to answer you. So, like for example, in on one board or one box, the option as it is written here, a scared dinosaur or a talking pencil or a clumsy astronaut. It can be any. And where you want to set up these characters, like the character number 1 is a scared dinosaur. So where you want to set up this dinosaur? So like, where is that dinosaur? So first you will work on who and where. Okay. Like for example, a talking pencil. So you'll start. There was a talking pencil. Now when you will have a word, have these words, talking pencil, a dark library. Okay. Then when they will get words, they will be able to frame a sentence like there was a talking pencil in a dark library, right? So first they have to set up their thinking into the words, then they will set up into the sentences, right? This way you have to make them understand the characters and their settings. So this is creating a hero and the place. Okay, creating a hero means the characters and the place means the set. So this is important. Okay. Then what will a student do? The student will combine that. Okay. See, like for example, here a clumsy astronaut got stuck inside a noisy fish market. Okay. A cloud made of candy, a dark library, and a noisy fish market were the boxes. Okay, so a noisy fish market and a clumsy astronaut. This was the third part. Okay, so this is the example. Now you have to show the students how the character is placed into a location. With this concept, the child, what is the child doing? The child is building words with the two different blocks. Okay, it's creating into a sentence. And the words are according to the imagination of the child. The secret rule for this is you have to put your character in a setting where they feel comfortable. Okay, so that's how the story becomes more exciting. Now put a fish fearing cartoon on a fishing boat. Like this is an example. So on a fishing boat, a fish is fearing a cat. Okay. So this way you can just tell them to create sentences first. Okay. Like now the main activity will come. Now they are prepared. The induction has been done. The activities has been done. Now they are prepared for the main activity. Now in the main activity, you have to create the whole story. Okay. And for that, you know where the character is. You know who the character is. Okay. And then now what will come? Like what the character is going to do it. At least 3-4 sentences you have to create by the same method. What is your character's name and what are they? Then what is the one thing you want the character to do? And then what is the biggest thing which you want to happen, like a big climax, or it's something which is important to be known to everyone. Tell them to write only 3 to 4 sentences, putting them into the character and the place, situation. Okay. Now this activity is going to make them think more. Okay. So easy, simple steps for the teachers is like, for example, here they have taken a character of an elephant. Bimbo, the tiny elephant, walked slowly into a deep, dark jungle looking for a sugarcane. The leaves began to rustle and he stopped completely. Suddenly, he saw a tiny gray mouse sitting on the top of the favorite snack. Bimbo wanted to run away, but his tummy rumbled with hunger. So, this is one part or one situation or one scene which is created. So, this way we create a story, we plot the story, and we are slowly and gradually creating the sketches, okay, of the story. So, this is for in the day 4. So, with this activity, you can just perform this, and how to evaluate it. You will call 2 to 3 students in front of the class and tell them to perform the activity what they have created. And you can, when they are performing this activity, you can just put it into the role play. Like one can become an elephant, one can become the mouse. Excuse me, Bimbo, why are you so afraid of tiny mouse? What will you do next to get that sugarcane? The teacher will say these type of ideas to the kids so that they convert their thinking and their imagination into the real life expressions. They must feel like, yes, these were the things where the characters were speaking out. In the earlier part, they were imagining the situation, and now they are understanding, they are involving themselves into the situation, right? So teacher must encourage them to put it into the feet of the character and reply as if they themselves are their own characters. Okay. So this will be their evaluation and assessment. So you will understand that they have understood and they will understand more clearly. And their creativity is going to enhance much more better. Okay. So this is for day 4. Then in day 5, now as they are aware how to set up a character, now they are aware how to set up the setting or the situation. They know what to put it. So they know who, they know where, they know what, and they know how to present. Okay. Now Next time, next session, like I have given it for according to day wise. See, this 15 days program is set up only for those who have just come for the creative writing and they are aware of each and everything. But yes, but when we start from class 3, it is going to take much more time because kids are very small. They may be able to write or may not be able to write. I did not say that they may not be able to do it anyhow, because all fingers are not alike or many kids are in a different mode. So after performing this activity, it may take 2 to 3 more days. Okay. And after that activity, you can just conduct the mini story activity. If they are able to set up one story, you can just tell them. Now they know what to do. They know the proper pattern, how they have to follow. So now you have to increase the number of words with the setup of beginning, middle, and end. These are the 3 parts which you have to put it into the story. In the story may be of 1 page, it may be of 100 to 200 words. First, initially start with 50 to 100 words, and then from 100 to 150 words, and then 100 to 200 words. That's how you have to go. So, how you have to enter into it? First, you have to set up a beginning. In the beginning, what happens? In the middle, what happens? And at the end, what happens? If you are making 6 to 8 lines in the character sketch, which we have done in day 4, 6 to 8 lines for the beginning, then next page, middle. You can just give them the heading. In the 3 pages, you can just tell them to perform this activity, the 3 sentence story. Okay, in 3 setup, you can say. So first you will put the heading beginning and then write 1 sentence. Then you will put a heading as a middle. Then you will put 1 sentence. Then you will put one heading as an end or a climax, and then a sentence. So with this 3 sentence, first you will set up an onboard activity game. It will be the hook or an icebreaker or a startup or an induction, whatever you call it. So first will be the normal expression in the beginning, then a big problem or big activity or whatever happens into the story and how it ends up. Okay. So 3 parts you have to divide it. Slowly and gradually you will increase the sentences into it. Okay. So here is an example. Normal day. Sam was happily riding his bicycle in the park. So in the park and Sam is who and where. Okay. What was he doing? So everything, whatever the child was doing earlier in day 4 comes in 1 sentence. In sentence 2, a big problem. Suddenly, a giant balloon lifted his bicycle right into the sky. Okay. So it's a big problem. It may be suddenly, it may be spontaneously, any words you can introduce with them. A giant balloon is who, okay, and where is into the sky, and then middle of the sentence. The same pattern you have to follow, and then you will put it into the structure. Then the fix. Luckily, like you can give them many different words for them. He landed softly on a pile of a cotton candy. So he landed, so is the person who, and of the cotton candy is the place, okay, and the middle setup has been done. So every sentence is following the same part which we have done earlier, and now it has been set up into 3 parts. Okay, normal, problem, and the fix, which is the beginning, middle, and the end. So with this, the child understands there are 3 parts in a story. Okay. So with this parts of setup, we are now going to set 2 to 3 lines. So now they have understood the concept of how to write the story. So when we end up with this very small story, we are entering into a goal of writing a mini story of 100 to 200 words, which is about 1 page or 8 to 10 lines. Okay. So first you will give the introduction of the character and where the character is in 1 or 2 lines. Then in next 3 to 6 lines, you will put in some problem, some trouble, or whatever happens, or whatever the child or that person wants to do. And at the end of the line, the solution towards the problem in a fun way. So these are the formula which you have to present it in 1 to 8 sentences. When you give steps to the kids, they will be able to plot it. Okay. Let them plot. You just give them words. You just give them ideas. You just tell them how to step it out. They will be able to present it in a very accurate and a systematic way. Okay. Now next, the main activity. Here you have to give a challenge to them. Like, now this activity is the locked door. Here, what you have to do is you have to set up the time. Okay. In step one, you have to give only 5 minutes to the kids. Like, within 5 minutes, set up the beginning and the middle and the end or the climax. Then give them 10 minutes. Then slowly and gradually improve this so that they will think in a time limit and they will be able to present themselves in a systematic way. So, what are the three main steps which you have to follow? Beginning, middle, and the end. And that you're going to present it in a startup where they are reflecting their characters and the setting, then a trouble or a big problem, and then the climax, the fix, or the end. Okay, so there are many more examples. You can just go through this. You can have an idea about it, how you can set up. Now, by the end or a wrap up, just tell them to write small stories and whatever they must think about it, they must imagine that whenever they will wake up in the morning, what has happened, something like, for example, like here a fun homework, missing object story. Okay, so you have to imagine when you wake up tomorrow morning and your shoes are completely disappeared. They have to write 5 sentences on the story. So, like, you have to give them the situation where the student writes with the beginning, middle, and the end. Okay, so when you give up all these things to them, they will have an idea what to write and how to write. You have just taught them. Okay, so with this way, you can enter it into day 5. And I would request you to put at least a 1 week practice for them for this day 5 activity. Okay, now day 6 activity. When we enter into the day 6 activities, now you have to put on different types of emotions into the stories. Like, for example, the experimenting genres, that is the fantasy, mystery, or sci-fi. Sci-fi is the science and the fiction. Okay, so when we talk about any fiction, when we talk about any futuristic aspects, when the children are understanding some mystery, they are entering into the world of fantasy, all these things you have to involve this. Okay, now this thing is for a higher grade kids. Till day 5, you have to keep them practice, practice, and practice from grade 3 to 5. But after the grade 5, and many kids start by grade 4 also. So after the grade 4, you can enter into the genre costume of the story. Okay, so when you enter into this generic costume of the story, here you can enter these type of activities into the given task. Now, I'm very sorry, let me have a water. Yeah, thank you. So now here what you're going to do is you have to set up the students in simple, easy sentences. Now here the students are now able to set up the sentences. The students are now here able to read out the story and make you understand what are their feelings and expressions. Now they have to enter just these things. You can put it into topics, like we have to write something on magic. Okay, so the first student will talk, I'm flying to school on a magic carpet. And then there is some secret. When you enter into some secret, I am secretly sneaking into the school and finding out the missing exam papers. Future, I'm teleporting my school on the Mars using a rocket bus. So any of these topics you can give them, and on that with n number of students, you can just tell them. You just have to give them words and get on many different sentences from them. Okay, all those sentences you have to set up and put it onto the board, and then you have to fix it, right? So these are the things which you have to focus on. Okay, now the core concept comes onto the popular genres. When we talk about the fantasy, there are many different things related to magic, related to talking animals, the superpowers, monsters, like Harry Potter, dragons, and everything. When you talk about the mystery in the detective world, like Sherlock Holmes and the hidden treasures, these are the activities or the detective activities which you have to conduct. You can just tell them the missing object with the clues, puzzles, and let them solve the mystery, these type of things. When we talk about the science and fiction, about the future world, like high-tech robots, spaceships, aliens, or the time travel activities. Like these are some things which you can conduct, but yes, they will be able to think and explore. From class 4 to class 6 students, they will be able to think and explore, but they may not be able to present it if they are not well versed with the grammatical concepts. So, side by side, or by vice versa, the grammatical and the spelling rules must run side by side. So when you talk about the creative writing, if you're conducting only creative writing classes, but from here, the higher level classes or higher level students must be able to do this. Okay, but till day 5, you can teach only for the foundation level. Okay, for the foundation level or for the preschool level till day 5, and much more practice till day 5. Okay, that is going to help them only till the foundation stage. But when you enter into the primary level, at that time you will start from day 5 to day 6. Okay, so these are some ideas how you have to put it. So here we have presented. So the juniors, you have to set them the rules. You have to make them understand how they are able to live it. So like homework, you can give it, like imagine you are living in the year of 2015. All right, 3 lines about the super robots that help you clean your bedroom every Sunday. It's a science and a fiction style with the story the child is going to prepare. Okay. So here we have completed till day 6, the second module. Now the third module. We'll just set up the third module in our next session.